Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would film a super quick little video basically just explaining how I have planned all of my revision from now until my exams start, and then also during exam season, because I asked on my Instagram story a couple days ago if you wanted to see a video like this, because I put a photo of the timetable that I made on there and the vast majority of you voted yes. So this is what this video is going to be. I'm basically going to be explaining to you how I made this timetable and sort of my logic behind it, etc, etc. So I always make my timetables on Word. It's just a table, a really simple table. I got so many questions on my Easter holiday revision video about what platform, what software I use to make a timetable. It is nothing fancy. It is just a Word document and a table. It looks fancier than it is, but trust me, these are so simple to make. And the way that I do them is I split it up into 4 columns. So this column here has all of the dates down the side of there, and then these 3 columns are my A-level subjects. So I have biology, English literature and history. So once I'd put the dates down the side and my subjects, the next thing that I then did was input when my exams actually are. So you should probably know the dates of your exams by now. If not, I'm sure they'll have them on your school website. So these are my ones for all of my subjects. I've colour coded them as well, as you can see, and I think it's really important to start with when your exams actually are, because that gives you an indication of how much time you have to work with, you know. And then what I did is I actually made a long list of all the units for all of my subjects that I want to cover in the time that I have. And it's also really good to make a sort of like priority list of things that you need to cover, because by this stage in the year I'm sure you probably have weaker areas and stronger areas, so obviously it's good to focus on the weaker areas. For me, I actually wanted to go over all of my content before the exams. This is definitely not necessary, but just to give me peace of mind, I wanted to go over everything, so that is how I've planned mine. But definitely start by making a list of some sort of everything that you've got to cover, because then you can visually see how long you've got and also what you've got to cover. And then I started inputting the things that I wanted to do. So the first couple weeks here aren't very intense, because I'm just sort of finishing off the revision that I'm doing at the moment. Because, for example, for Tudors, I'm just doing Elizabeth at the moment, quite chilled out, just at the end of the revision that I've been doing for the past couple of months. But then from this point onwards, it gets more intense. So the way that I basically inputted what my revision is I calculated how many days I have between here and between my first exam, and then I divided them by how many topics I need to cover. However, it's not an exact division, because obviously some topics are larger than others. So the way that I did it for Tudors, for example, which is my history paper 1 down here, is I've done 3 days on Henry VII, 3 days on Henry VIII, because they are bigger topics, and then I've just done 1 day on Edward, 1 day on Mary, because they are really small topics in comparison, 3 days on Elizabeth, and then 2 days just to study all of the monarchs. Because as important as it is to study individual topics, you also need to do like a consolidation of your whole knowledge, really. Well, that's what I find works for me anyway, especially in history, because some of the questions can be about continuity and change over different time periods. So I've put those days in there to do a sort of consolidation of everything that I've done in the previous weeks. So I've done a similar thing for all of my subjects. So I did the same thing for English, in that I calculated how long I have between now and before my paper 1, and then divided that by how many topics I have and all the different things that I have to cover. So I have 3 days on Rossetti poetry, for example, 2 days on Hamlet, 1 day on Doll's House, then another day on poetry apparently, and then just to study all of the texts here up until my paper 1. and I do have more than that in English, but after my paper 1 is over, I then do the same thing with my paper 2, in that I calculate how many days I have between my paper 1 and my paper 2 and then divide that by how many topics. So I'll do 3 days on Grapes of Wrath, 3 days on Gatsby, 2 days on context, and then 2 days studying all of the texts again, because there's no point in me focusing on paper 2 from now on, because I have a good week and a bit to do that over May half term. So it's all about sort of prioritizing what comes first, but also obviously don't forget about your other exams and your other texts, but make sure that you have equal time for both. Also, you may notice that the day before I have an exam, I dedicate that whole day to whatever that exam is on. So for example, with my history paper 1 on the 21st, I've dedicated the whole Monday to just history, because I feel like it just gets you in the right mindset for that subject, and you don't really want to be thinking about other subjects at that point in time. So I've done that for all of my exams. So the day before my English exam, I'm just focusing on English, so I've put nothing in my biology column and nothing in my history column. Same with my biology exams, although I've finished my other ones by then anyway, but you get the gist. I think that's fairly important for planning your revision, because you don't want to find that you've got a history paper tomorrow, but you've scheduled yourself a load of biology, so then you can't focus on history as much, because then otherwise you'll be behind. So yeah, that's my logic behind that. I do want to say that this is provisional for me. I don't know how well I'm actually going to stick to this, and I probably will end up doing more than I say on this timetable, because this is quite like basic, but it will let me cover everything, but I don't know in how much detail. For example, like this blue bit here, this is when I have May half term, so obviously I can be doing more in that time, so I probably will do more. So yeah, that's basically it. And that is also the bank holiday Monday, where I've actually got plans with family, so I've just blocked that out. That's another thing as well. If you know that you're not going to do revision on a certain day for whatever reason, if you're seeing people, if you've got plans, then don't schedule it, just put it somewhere else, because you shouldn't really have to change your plans unless they're like on a day where you've got an exam or something, then change your plans. But yeah, make sure that you're structuring your revision around how your life works. So yeah, that is how I have planned all of my revision up until exams and during exams. I hope that that was useful. I feel like I explained that in quite a waffly, complicated way, when actually it's a really simple concept. But if you do have exams soon, whether they're GCSE, whether they're A-level, then good luck with your revision, good luck with the exams. It is all soon over. That's what I just need to keep telling myself. But yeah, if you found this video useful, then definitely make sure to like, subscribe, and also follow my social media, which will be linked down below in the description. Bye guys!